News Service. I am Superchong Swan. As the unrest in the south continues to fill the front pages, the opposition party has tabled a motion accusing the government of adding more confusion in the chain of command with its latest tactic of forming a single coordinating unit to solve the southern unrest. Meanwhile, the Air Force will now be using jets to take aerial pictures of forest areas in the deep south.
In the latest effort to find insurgents' hideouts in the heavily forested areas in the far south, at least one DA-42 jet will be responsible for taking snapshots from the air. The Air Force commander says 2 jets may be deployed on this mission. Democrat MP for Narathiwat Province Surachet Ase told the House that the Yingluck Shinawat government had not tackled the southern problem properly, as human rights abuses in the region are still commonplace. He also slammed top government officials who have never visited the area to assess the situation, gain first-hand information, and raise the morale of officers deployed there. Chalerm Yubamrung, a deputy PM assigned to help resolve the southern unrest, claims that every time a VIP visits the south, some 700 soldiers will be ordered to provide protection. He says every human resource should be dedicated to protecting the citizens of the region. He added that there were also some evil politicians who benefit from the southern unrest by selling illegal products, opening casinos along the southern border, or even being part of the illegal drugs trade. The government boasts that they have the names of 4,900 insurgents in the south, and a number of insurgents are prepared to turn themselves to authorities.
The criminal court has postponed its deliberation over whether or not to revoke bail for those red-shirt defendants who are currently MPs and thus enjoy parliamentary immunity by law until November 29th. The court's decision came after 5 hours of questioning the defendants about the terrorism cases and alleged violations of the bail conditions. The hearing was attended by 23 red shirts, while those who did not attend submitted medical certificates.
The court's decision came after 5 hours of questioning the defendants about the terrorism charges and alleged violations of their bail conditions. The hearing was attended by 23 red shirts, and those who did not attend submitted medical certificates. At the criminal court hearing today, complainant Nipit Intra Sombat, Democrat MP, showed the VCD recording of Yosawarit Chuklom, better known as Jane Dokjik, making a speech at a red shirts rally on June 7th in front of Parliament House. Nipit alleged that Jane Dokjik made comments that violated his bail conditions. The defendant, however, asked for a chance to prove his innocence and offered to bring witness and the exact VCD to the criminal court to obtain justice. Natawat Saiker said that he believes Yosawarit will successfully prove his innocence to the court. The Deputy Agriculture Minister admitted criticizing the Constitution Court's work, but said that he was simply using his legal right to do so. In response to the court's postponement, other defendants confirmed that they will be attending the court's hearing on August 22nd in person and will accept the court's verdict regardless of the outcome.
The persistent rainfall in many provinces, especially in Nong Khai, is keeping authorities on high alert, monitoring the water levels of the Mekong River. Meanwhile, in Wang Thong district of Kittirat province, the river downstream of the Gangsong waterfall has overflowed, causing damage to nearby shops. Intense rainfall over the past 3 days in Phetchabun mountain range has increased the water level in Kek River, causing it to overflow and to damage business areas in the Gangsong waterfall in Phitsanulok province. The Provincial Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation warned residents on both sides of the river to be careful during the ongoing heavy rains. While villagers of Tung Chang in Nan province are demanding related agencies to fix the damaged embankments along the Nan River. Phichit, Nakhon Sawan, and Nakhon Ratchasima provinces have been preparing for the floods by dredging additional waterways and strengthening barricades. The water level of Mekong River in Nong Khai province is now hovering at 9.26 meters after increasing by 11 centimeters since yesterday. Authorities are monitoring the situation closely as the continued heavy rain may increase the water level and flood nearby villages and farmland. Even though the spread of hand, foot, and mouth disease has slowed down in many areas, some school children are still being infected. The latest cases are in Khon Kaen province, where 5 students were exposed to the disease. One of them needs special medical attention. The hand, foot, and mouth disease continues to pose a threat to Thai children, with 5 students recently found to have been exposed to the disease at Thesaban Suan Suk School in the Khon Kaen municipality. 4 of them have now recovered, but 1 child remains under close medical supervision. The school's teachers have since received training on handling disease. The training was given by officials from the Department of Public Health and Environment, who also helped sanitize the school and its vicinity to prevent further transmission of the disease. As an additional safety measure, Krisana Warun Chayakit, Deputy Permanent Secretary of Khon Kaen Municipality, has asked the school to suspend classes for 2 days to avoid the risk of more students being contaminated. Representatives of all 11 schools in the municipality have been called together to foster understanding of the current situation and to receive training in handling the disease. At the moment, no hand, foot, and mouth infections have been reported at other schools in the area. Last night, the current finance minister and his predecessor took to the stage in what turned out to be a heated debate over the government's economic policies, especially the controversial rice pledging scheme. Last night's debate between government's Kittirat Ranong, Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, and the opposition's Korn Chattigawanit, former Finance Minister, received considerable attention as the two exchanged verbal punches over the government's economic policies. During the encounter, Korn warned the government that its populist policies involving market interventions are damaging the competitiveness of the private sector and hurting investors' confidence. The former finance minister questioned the effectiveness of the Pheu Thai rice pledging scheme, which has burned up more than 260 billion baht of taxpayers' money. He revealed that only a mere 37% of farmers, or 2 million farming households, have benefited from the project. In contrast, the Democrats' previous rice price insurance policy helped more than 4 million farming households nationwide. The Pheu Thai scheme is also believed to be riddled with corruption. Kittirat Ranong, on the other hand, emphasized that his party's rice pledging program has been more successful at lifting the farmers' incomes than the Democrats' policy. The government is ready to clarify the detail of the rice pledging to Parliament and is also ready to debate it with rice experts. Additionally, Korn of the Democrat Party raised suspicion over the government's special procurement methods used to pay for basic infrastructure. He claimed that they create opportunities for corruption, while noting that businesses are now being asked to pay money under the table to win contracts at a rate of 30% of the project's total budget. However, Kittirat of the Pheu Thai Party suggested that the special procurement method has been used to speed up important projects. He also indicated that the bill to authorize the government to borrow 2 trillion baht has nothing to do with corruption. The government has no intention to hide public debt, but is committed to stimulate domestic consumption and investment. The finance minister affirmed that public debt will remain within normal fiscal guidelines. And in an effort to increase awareness of the 45th anniversary of ASEAN's establishment, Kittirat Hospital, as one of Thailand's leading public medical centers, is preparing its staff for the imminent arrival of the ASEAN Economic Community. While many are voicing concerns that the AEC will result in a massive brain drain of talented and experienced medical staff seeking better paid positions elsewhere in the region, Kittirat executives remain optimistic. Here's more from Hugh Adams.
This week, Kittirat Hospital put a great deal of effort into raising awareness of the ASEAN Economic Community by hosting events and exhibitions about ASEAN and its member states. The purpose of the events, according to hospital executives, is to keep the medical staff up to date with developments in the wider regional ASEAN community. One of the highlights of the first day of the ASEAN exhibition was the student speech competition. Not only did the younger generation have to present their ideas about healthcare in ASEAN, they also had to give their presentations in English. Other than English competency, another big challenge for Thailand once the AEC gets up and running in 2015 is the possible loss of skilled Thai dentists, doctors and nurses to better paying jobs elsewhere in ASEAN. These are just 3 of the 8 skilled occupations which will allow their practitioners to move and work freely anywhere in the ASEAN group of countries. The Dean of Kittirat's Faculty of Medicine says there is a high chance that this brain drain of medical staff will occur, but steps are being taken to keep these skilled medical professionals loyal to patients in Thailand.
When compared with the standard of the education with the doctors or nurses or dentists or medical technologies, I think we have very good standard in this region, but the payment 2 or 3 times less than in Singapore, in Malaysia. The money is not the big problem at all, but we have to talk about the money first. I think the government have to plan ahead that we should reduce the gap about the payment. Not exactly that we have the same level, or maybe you can increase the payment to allow 70 or 80%, that's enough. Because as I have mentioned, that the payment not the only factor that bring them out. But I think the happy workplace, that's very important. We have to adapt or to change our environment to promote the career path. We have to taking care of them well. I think this to have their heart with us.
At present, the ratio of doctors to patients in Thailand is around 1 doctor to every 5,000 patients. The World Health Organization's standard is 1 doctor per 1,000 patients. If the government's policy aimed at retaining valuable medical staff in this country fails, Thailand's public health system is bound to face significant challenges in as little as 3 years from now, when the AEC formally arrives. Hugh Adams, Thai PBS.
Thank you, Hugh. New ASEAN members like Cambodia and Myanmar are set to develop their oil and gas resources as a part of their move to improve economic conditions prior to the launch of the AEC in 2015. Myanmar in particular is expediting the process by attracting more foreign investment into its energy sector. Myanmar has opened its gas and oil sectors to increase foreign investment as it strives to accelerate the pace of national development and eliminate poverty. The government in Myanmar insists that these energy deals are not corrupt and will be sure to benefit both investors and Myanmar as a whole.
They don't want to bribe. Even U.S. not encourage that kind of investment, right? No need to worry about that. Even I'm going to corrupt, or you are not invest. That is very easy now. Now change. Before that, I admit that before that, maybe not all level playing role, no crony, no corruption.
The minister also affirmed that the once isolated country developing rapidly and will soon play a key role in the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, starting 2015. However, Myanmar's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi remains concerned over the lack of transparency in foreign investment, and the government's committed to establishing good fiscal discipline. And while the Myanmar energy sector is keen to attract more foreign capital, Cambodia is also intending to exploit its oil reserves to fund social development. However, Cambodia's attempts to extract oil from the area known as Block A in the Gulf of Thailand will be delayed from this year to 2016. Currently, the country is focusing on oil exploration and ensuring that transparency and accountability in the process is maintained while mitigating the potential environment impacts. And Thai PBS is offering new job opportunities, especially for those who wish to join the English news service. To find more details, please visit thaipbs.or.th, our website. And if you are interested, please send your CV or resume to job@thaipbs.or.th. I'm Super John Green Suwan on behalf of Thai PBS. Thank you for watching. Sawadee krap.